Listen up, because I'm only going to say this once. Most people out there, they're not living, they're existing. Waking up every day, scrolling through their phones, waiting for life to happen, average, mediocre, pathetic. You want to know what's wrong with society today? Everyone's comfortable being average. They defend it, they justify it, they call it balance. But let me tell you something, there's no pride in being average. There's no greatness in mediocrity. You either dominate this world or you get dominated. You were not born to be like everyone else. You were not created to wake up, eat, work, scroll, and sleep. That's the cycle of slaves. Slaves to routine, to fear, to weakness. People will tell you it's okay to be normal. No, it's not. Normal means broke. Normal means lazy. Normal means invisible. Do you think the greats of this world ever aimed for average? You think Elon Musk, Michael Jordan, or Steve Jobs said, yeah, average will do? No, they wanted to dominate. They wanted to leave their mark on this planet. You see, being average is not about what you have. It's about what you tolerate. You tolerate procrastination. You tolerate fear. You tolerate wasting time. You tolerate mediocrity. And every time you do that, you're giving away your power. You're training yourself to lose. You want success? Then stop acting like the rest. Stop following the crowd. The crowd's broke, tired, and complaining. You want to rise? Then you've got to separate yourself. The truth is brutal. You'll be hated, misunderstood, judged, but who cares? The lion doesn't concern himself with the opinions of sheep. Every second you spend on excuses, someone else is getting stronger, faster, richer. Every "I'll start tomorrow" is another nail in the coffin of your potential. You've got one shot, one life, one opportunity, and you're wasting it being average. No, that's not acceptable. If you want to be something, be relentless. Wake up earlier, train harder, learn faster, think bigger, move with purpose, because average people drift. Warriors move. And this world doesn't remember the ones who drift. It remembers the ones who dominated. You've got to build a mindset that refuses weakness, a mindset that says, I'll die before I quit. That's where greatness starts, when your willpower becomes stronger than your excuses. That's the difference between the 99% and the 1%. The 99 make excuses. The 1% make moves. Average is the silent killer of dreams. It's the invisible poison that creeps into your life without you realizing it. You wake up, go to work, do what everyone else does, and call it normal. But let me tell you the truth. Normal is the problem. Average is where ambition goes to die. It's where potential gets buried under comfort and excuses. You weren't born to be like everyone else. You were born to stand out, to dominate, to lead, to make the world remember your name. Most people never realize they're stuck in the cycle of average. They talk about dreams, but never move toward them. They scroll through their phones, watching others succeed, wishing they could do the same, yet they never take the first step. Why? Because being average feels safe. It doesn't demand courage. It doesn't demand risk. It keeps you hidden in the crowd where no one expects anything from you. But here's the brutal reality. Safety kills growth. You can't rise while you're afraid of falling. You need to understand something. Average is not just a lifestyle. It's a mindset. It's the voice in your head that says, take it easy. It's the comfort zone that whispers, you've done enough for today. It's the part of you that settles when you should be pushing harder. Average is a disease, and the cure is pain. The pain of discipline, the pain of sacrifice, the pain of becoming something more than ordinary. You can't become extraordinary without breaking away from what's easy. Look around. The world is full of people who gave up on greatness because average was easier. They had dreams, goals, and ideas that could have changed their lives, but they traded them for convenience. They quit when it got hard. They stopped when no one was watching. And years later, they look in the mirror and wonder where it all went wrong. Don't let that be you. Don't let time pass while you sit there thinking about doing something. Action beats intention every single time. The truth is, average people always have the same story. I could have been great, but that but is where they bury their potential. But I didn't have the money, but I didn't have the time, but I didn't get lucky. Excuses, all of them. You don't need luck. You need obsession. You need to wake up every day with fire in your chest and a mission in your mind. You need to hate mediocrity so much that you'd rather die chasing greatness than live another day being average. And here's the hook. The world does not reward effort. It rewards results. No one claps for the person who tried. No one remembers the one who was almost great. The world remembers winners, leaders, legends, those who decided average was not an option. You think Andrew Tate, Elon Musk, or Kobe Bryant ever said, I'm doing enough? No, they were never satisfied. They pushed until their name became untouchable. You want to separate yourself? Then you must make a decision, a violent, unshakable decision that you will never again accept average effort, average discipline, or average standards. You will demand more from yourself every single day. You'll train harder, work longer, and think bigger than anyone else around you. Because once you start raising your standards, everything in your life starts to change. You attract different opportunities, different people, different results. The world starts to bend to your mindset. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for someone to believe in you. Stop acting like you've got forever. You don't. The clock is ticking. Every day you waste in mediocrity is a day stolen from your greatness. The average man watches his time disappear while the relentless man turns his time into legacy. You want to be remembered? Then burn the bridge back to average. Let every action scream that you were built for more. You either rise above average or you drown in it. The choice is yours. But remember this, when you choose average, you choose regret. When you choose greatness, you choose immortality. Comfort is the biggest scam the world has ever sold you. It's the invisible cage that looks soft, feels safe, and destroys everything powerful inside you. The moment you choose comfort, you choose weakness. You choose to stay exactly where you are, trapped in a loop of good enough, slowly forgetting what greatness even feels like. The truth is, comfort is not peace, it's paralysis. It makes you forget your hunger, your fire, your potential. It whispers, relax, you're doing sweat. In the moments when their mind screamed, stop, but they kept going anyway. That's where character is forged, in the fire, not the cushion. The trap of comfort is that it convinces you that you have time. I'll start tomorrow. I'll try later. I just need a break. Those little lies stack up until years go by, and suddenly you're older, weaker, and full of regret. Comfort steals your urgency. It kills your hunger. It blinds you to how much potential you're wasting every single day. The man who seeks comfort now pays for it later. The man who embraces discomfort now lives like a king later. That's the difference. That's the formula. And here's the hook. Comfort doesn't just keep you still. It makes you soft. It makes you forget how to fight. You lose your edge. You lose your drive. You start avoiding pain. And before you know it, you start avoiding life. Every time you hit the snooze button, every time you skip the gym, every time you choose the easy route, you're training yourself to fail. You're programming your mind to accept mediocrity. You're telling yourself, this is enough, when deep down, you know it's not. Discomfort is where the truth lives. When you're uncomfortable, your brain wakes up. You start to think differently, move differently, act differently. You become sharper, faster, stronger. That's why the best version of you only appears under pressure. You won't find him lying on the couch. You'll find him grinding when no one's watching. You'll find him pushing through fatigue, through doubt, through pain, because that's where transformation happens. If you want to break free from average, you need to make discomfort your new comfort zone. Train your mind to crave challenge. Look for the struggle. Seek it like oxygen. Every time life gets hard, tell yourself, good, this is where I grow. Most people run from pain. You run toward it because you understand that pain is the price of power. No man ever became unstoppable by choosing the easy path. The road to greatness is steep, cold, and lonely, but it's the only road worth walking. So, the next time you feel tired, the next time your mind says rest, remember this. Comfort is the enemy. It wants to take everything from you. It wants to make you forget what it feels like to fight, to earn, to win. Don't let it. When you feel the pain, when you feel the resistance, smile, because that means you're alive. That means you're growing. That means you're becoming the person you were meant to be. Comfort is easy. Growth is hard, but easy never made a warrior. Easy never built an empire. Easy never changed the world. You either choose comfort now and suffer later, or choose discomfort now and rise forever. Motivation is a spark, but discipline is the fire that keeps burning when everything else fades. Anyone can be motivated for a day. That's easy. You watch a video, hear a quote, or see someone winning, and for a moment you feel unstoppable. But then life hits you. You're tired, distracted, uninspired. And that's when most people quit. That's the moment that separates the average from the extraordinary. Because the disciplined don't wait for motivation. They act no matter how they feel. Motivation is a feeling. Discipline is a decision. Every morning there's a war between your mind and your body. Your body wants comfort. It wants the pillow, the rest, the break. But your mind, your real mind, the part built for greatness, knows what needs to be done. The problem is most people listen to their body instead of commanding it. Winners command themselves. They don't negotiate with laziness. They don't ask, do I feel like it? They say, it doesn't matter how I feel, I do it anyway. That's discipline. That's power. That's how legends are built. Here's the hard truth. Motivation will never make you successful. It's weak. It's temporary. It's emotional. Motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you going when motivation is gone, and it will be gone. There will be days you wake up empty, days you don't see progress, days where you question why you even started. That's when discipline steps in and says, I don't care how you feel. Get up and work. Because consistency is what separates the talkers from the doers. You think champions rely on motivation? You think the top 1% wake up every day excited? No, they wake up focused. They wake up with a mission. They know that greatness is built through repetition, through routine, through doing the hard things when no one else will. Discipline is not about feeling good. It's about doing good, doing what must be done, whether you feel like it or not. That's what makes you dangerous. That's what makes you unstoppable. And here's the hook. Your emotions are lying to you. They tell you you're tired, you've done enough, you deserve a break. That's weakness disguised as logic. The mind loves to justify laziness. You tell yourself, I'll do it tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes. Tomorrow is the graveyard of motivation. If you want to win, you stop waiting for perfect conditions and start creating them. You show up, you execute, you build habits so strong that they don't rely on emotion. They run automatically like a machine. Discipline is freedom. Most people think discipline is restriction, but it's the opposite. Discipline gives you control. When you control your actions, you control your outcomes. You control your body, your mind, your future. That's freedom. The undisciplined are slaves to their moods. They only move when they feel right, and that's why they stay stuck. But the disciplined, they bend their emotions to their will. They move forward through fear, through exhaustion, through doubt. They own their mind, and that's why they own their life. There's a reason why discipline feels uncomfortable, because it's rare. It's rare to meet someone who sticks to the plan no matter what. It's rare to find a man who doesn't make excuses. It's rare to find a person who can suffer without stopping. And that's why the disciplined rise above the rest. They become the examples others follow. They become the standard. You can't buy that mindset. You build it through repetition, through consistency, through pain. Every time you do something you don't feel like doing, you're building muscle, not just physical, but mental. You're training your brain to obey you, not your feelings. And that's how real confidence is born. You stop relying on luck, on mood, on hype. You start relying on yourself. You trust your grind because you've seen yourself perform even on your worst days. That's discipline. That's unshakable. So the next time your mind says, I don't feel like it, remember this. Nobody cares how you feel. The world rewards execution, not excuses. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. You can either keep chasing motivation like a child, or you can build discipline like a warrior. One fades, one lasts forever. And when you master discipline, you don't need motivation because you become it. The truth is simple. You will never be great if you keep following the crowd. The crowd is weak, distracted, and lost. They chase approval instead of purpose. They want to fit in, not stand out. But the world doesn't remember the ones who blend in. It remembers the ones who dared to be different. If you keep walking the same path everyone else walks, you'll end up exactly where they are, average, tired, broke, and invisible. The first rule of greatness is this: separate yourself. The more you stand apart, the more power you gain. Most people are terrified of being different. They want acceptance more than success. They'll sacrifice their potential just to be liked. That's the mindset of the crowd, desperate for validation, afraid of judgment. But the lion doesn't ask the sheep for permission to roar. The lion leads, hunts, and dominates because it doesn't care what others think. That's H. How you must live, unapologetically. The moment you stop trying to impress everyone, you free yourself to become unstoppable. Here's the harsh truth. The crowd will always hate what they don't understand. They'll mock your discipline, question your ambition, and doubt your dreams. They'll say you've changed, that you're too focused, too serious, or too obsessed. But what they're really saying is this: you're doing what they couldn't. And deep down they know it. When you start separating yourself, the world will try to pull you back down because your growth exposes their weakness. But you must never shrink to make others comfortable. If your light blinds them, tell them to close their eyes. Being different isn't about rebellion. It's about alignment. You're aligning yourself with your purpose, your vision, your mission. The crowd doesn't have that. They live on autopilot, following trends, repeating routines, never questioning anything. You can't build an empire with a follower's mindset. You can't rise if you're chained to people who are standing still. You have to outgrow them mentally, emotionally, spiritually. That's how leaders are born. And here's the hook. The road to greatness is lonely. No one tells you that part. It's a cold climb filled with silence, isolation, and doubt. But that's the price of distinction. While everyone else parties, you're working. While they sleep, you're grinding. While they talk, you're executing. That's what separates kings from the common. You can't expect to live like the crowd and still lead them. You must earn that separation through consistency, focus, and sacrifice. People will call you arrogant for believing in yourself. Let them. They'll call you crazy for dreaming big. Let them. They'll call you obsessed for working too hard. Let them. Because in the end, they'll call you something else, successful. The same people who laughed will one day quote your words, share your story, and wish they had your drive. That's how it always happens. First, they doubt you, then they study you, then they try to become you. You must build a mindset so powerful that the noise of the crowd becomes irrelevant. When they gossip, you build. When they rest, you rise. When they fear, you attack. The lion doesn't turn his head when dogs bark. He keeps walking toward his goal. That's how you must move. Calm, focused, dangerous. You can't let opinions break your focus. The crowd's validation is a currency of the weak. Your only validation should come from your progress, your results, and your mission. Every day, the crowd chooses comfort. You choose discipline. They seek attention. You seek purpose. They live in noise. You live in silence. That's how power is created. In isolation, in clarity, in self-control. The higher you rise, the smaller the crowd gets. And that's how it should be. Because not everyone deserves to stand where you're going, so let them talk. Let them misunderstand you. Let them call you whatever they want. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be remembered. The world doesn't reward those who fit in. It crowns those who stand out. Separate yourself from the ordinary, and the extraordinary will follow you. Be the lion in a world full of sheep. Walk alone if you must, because the path to greatness was never meant to be crowded. Excuses are the most expensive lies you'll ever tell yourself. They cost you time, potential, and your shot at greatness. Every time you make an excuse, you build another wall between yourself and the life you want. People don't fail because they're not talented. They fail because they're full of excuses. They're too busy explaining why they can't win instead of doing what it takes to win. You can't build an empire with excuses. You build it with effort, sacrifice, and discipline. Excuses are poison. They make weakness sound logical. Most people don't even realize they're addicted to excuses. It becomes a reflex. I'm tired. I don't age time. It's not the right moment. They tell themselves these lies until they start believing them. The truth? You're not tired. You're unmotivated. You have time. You're just wasting it. It's not the wrong moment. You're just scared. Excuses are fear in disguise. They're the comfortable way out when things get tough. But comfort never made anyone great. Every excuse you make is a brick in the wall separating you from your destiny. The more you stack, the harder it becomes to break through. Winners and losers are separated by one simple thing: accountability. Winners own everything. Losers blame everything. When something goes wrong, the loser points fingers. The winner looks in the mirror. Because when you take responsibility, you take control. When you blame, you surrender your power. Excuses make you a victim. Responsibility makes you a creator. The moment you stop saying I can't and start saying I will, everything changes. You shift from powerless to unstoppable. Here's the hook. Excuses sound good only to the one making them. They sound smart, logical, even justified, but deep down, you know they're lies. The world doesn't care about your reasons. It only cares about your results. You can tell everyone your story, how hard it's been, how unlucky you are, how life isn't fair, and maybe they'll nod and sympathize. But while you're talking, someone else is working. Someone else is grinding. Someone else is building the life you keep dreaming about. That's the brutal truth. The world rewards execution, not explanation. People say they want success, but they're not willing to pay the price. They want the body without the gym, the wealth without the grind, the glory without the sacrifice. Excuses are their way of pretending they want it while secretly avoiding the work. But life doesn't hand you success. It demands proof that you deserve it. Every excuse is proof that you don't. Every action is proof that you do. You can't lie to results. The scoreboard doesn't care how you feel. The difference between a dreamer and a doer is that the dreamer makes excuses, the doer makes moves, the dreamer waits for the right time, the doer creates it, the dreamer says maybe one day, the doer says today. Every time you choose excuses over execution, you're teaching your brain to settle. You're building the identity of someone who quits when things get hard. And once that becomes your identity, it's almost impossible to rise unless you decide right now to kill your excuses. And here's the truth most won't tell you. Your excuses are protecting your ego, not your potential. They keep you comfortable. They keep you safe, but they also keep you small. You can't grow while you're defending your limits. You can't evolve while you're explaining your failures. Greatness requires brutal honesty with yourself. It requires looking in the mirror and saying, this is my fault, and it's my job to fix it. That's what separates men from boys. That's what builds leaders. When you stop making excuses, you start making progress. It's that simple. Your mind becomes sharper. Your actions become bolder. You stop waiting for the perfect conditions because you realize they'll never come. You stop blaming others because you understand no one's coming to save you. The moment you take ownership, the game changes. Suddenly, every failure becomes a lesson. Every setback becomes fuel. Every mistake becomes experience. That's how warriors are made, not through comfort, but through accountability. Excuses don't build empires. Execution does. You can't conquer the world if you keep defending your weakness. You've got to face yourself. You've got to crush the lies you tell yourself about why you can't, why it's hard, why it's not the right time. There will never be a right time. There will only be now. The more excuses you destroy, the stronger you become. Stop talking about what you could have done. Start doing what you must. Excuses are for Tate. Average. Action is for the elite. The day you stop explaining your limits is the day you start breaking them. Life is war, and you either dominate it or get dominated by it. There is no middle ground. You can't halfway commit to greatness and expect to rule your world. Every second you hesitate, every excuse you make, someone else is out there grinding harder, faster, hungrier. Life doesn't wait for the weak. It doesn't reward almost. It only bows to those who take control, those who wake up every day with the mindset of a conqueror. You either take command of your destiny or watch it slip away, piece by piece, while you make excuses for why you didn't become who you could have been. The world is built by those who refuse to be passive, the ones who look at their situation and say, this isn't enough, the ones who demand more from themselves when everyone else settles. That's the mindset that separates leaders from followers, kings from peasants. If you don't dominate your own life, someone else will. Your boss, your fear, your comfort zone, your doubt. They'll control your time, your energy, and your potential, and you'll be left wondering why nothing ever changes. You don't get to live on autopilot and expect power. Power is earned through control. Control of your emotions, your habits, and your focus. And here's the hook. Domination is not arrogance, it's responsibility. It's understanding that no one's coming to save you. No one's going to hand you success. No one's going to push you when you don't feel like moving. You have to be the one who demands more. You have to be the one who leads yourself when no one's watching. Most people live like pawns. But none will ignore you. You'll start moving differently. You'll stop wasting time on meaningless things. You'll stop begging for validation. You'll realize that your only competition is the man in the mirror, and beating him every day is how you win the war. You'll feel a shift, a fire inside that won't let you rest until you reach your full potential. Domination is not about shouting louder. It's about moving smarter. It's not about controlling others. It's about controlling yourself so fiercely that nothing external can throw you off course. It's about building a life where you decide the terms, where you own your outcomes, where every